Hello, everybody. So it is only befitting that I talk about this today. Um, I am so frustrated. So I had to just go ahead and just say what I'm frustrated about. So I was reading, first of all, I was listening. I love Ricky Smiley. And, usually I feel like he is so level headed. And they were talking about how some people were coming out in defense of, Snoop Dogg. And I was like, well, people can go too far. Then I saw after that Snoop Dogg did an interview and he talked about how I'm still a black man. We're good, I'm cut from a different cloth, and the guy's never done anything to me personally, so I have nothing but respect or whatever. That's when I lost it. I pray if you know him and you see this, I pray that you send it to him. Snoop Dogg, you're stupid as hell. You're ignorant. And that statement was ignorant. I said what I said, and I meant it. It's not just about you, you sorry SOB. It's about the people who put you where you are. That's why you lost all the fans and the followers on IG. Because without them, you don't get paid. Without black community and black people putting you on, you didn't get to where white America would even know who you were. Before us, you were just black famous, but because now I will give you credit, you've made some moves in your career, but you couldn't have made those moves without black people. So when you say that he's done nothing to you personally, it's not just about you personally. That's why this young generation, y'all seem to think that the sun rises and sets on y'all little nasty behinds. But you don't understand the suffering and the price that was paid to get you where you are. You sorry suckers. Do you know it was a sacrifice? Honey, let me break it down for you. Martin Luther King did not have to do anything. He had graduated from college at 15. He was financially secure. He came from a family that had stuff. He didn't have to. He could have kept on in that generation and he could have stayed in his bubble. But the reason we are where we are is because there are people that once they reach a status, they still sacrifice. Thank you, Colin Kaepernick. He gave up his entire career because he had a platform and he used it. That's a real black man, Snoop. Not you and 2 quarters with his sorry sucker. I stopped following him a long time ago when he was on there talking about he didn't want to pay taxes. You talking about an ignorant mofo. That's an ignorant mofo. First of all, he went out and he lied. He said, when the girl sued him for using her likeness in a video, he lied and said he didn't have any money. He's so ignorant that all he had to do was to have everything set up and organized right, and she wouldn't have been able to sue except for one video. Because if every video was an LLC and separated and his business was right, he wouldn't have had to go on and lie and say what he didn't have, trying not to pay her. Then to further go, he doubled down on his ignorance and say, I'm for Trump. I don't want to have to pay all those taxes. Well, you know what? If you could read 2 quarters and if you had any good sense and a real accountant, you could have figured out how to not pay the taxes legally and still not sell out your community. I am so sick of this young generation thinking they know so much and dismissing the past. I remember right before we started losing Trayvon Martin and all of the shootings and stuff, that Snoop Dogg, Nick Cannon, and a few others was like, I'm tired of seeing slave movies. See, what you all fail to realize, we keep showing you about the slave movie because it's not about showing black people as weak, because we are nothing. We are nowhere close to weak. If anything, we are the most resilient creature, the most resilient people on earth. We are the only culture that does not have a black cartel that's making money for us. We do it on our own, and we do it collectively, and we build and we rebuild over and over and over again. So for you ignorance to not understand the past and think you walking out here on the present and the future without us, you have lost your mind. It is people like from my generation and before that even allows you to have an opportunity to stand and decide to be ignorant and to sell out, to give you a choice to be ignorant. But for you to say something like, he hasn't done anything to me personally, well, baby, what he might do to all of the people that buy your music will personally hit you, because I guarantee you those white people are not going to invest into your music, honey. They will steal it, and then they will copy it so that they can make money on it. They will use you, but they will not support you. Your career is built on the backs of the people that you just seem to dismiss, talking about he hasn't done anything to me personally. Honey, well, personally, you have pissed me off. You have made me sick. And any one of you that's out there like, well, we going too far. No. Sometimes you don't go far enough. If he had never come out and said that, if he had just said, hey, y'all, I made a business decision. I'm doing something different. I respect, I understand, anything. Because at the end of the day, you can make your own choices. But when you double down on your ignorance, that's when I would speak out. Because ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is why we stay so far behind. Ignorance is why we don't know the game and we don't know how to play the game. We are forever doing the wrong thing at the wrong time. Because we are always looking, everything is over here to the right and we still at the left. Just like you see a lot of Latinos and different people protesting. This is not the time to protest. And the tripped out part is that there are so many people crying and so, delusion, like he's really doing this. And it's like we kept telling you this before the election. Now is the time to make sure that the other officials that are in office, your congressmen and women, your senators from your state, now is the time to make them stand up, because there's only so many things that he can do. Now is the time to make those people work for you. That means that you got to sacrifice. That means that just like I'm doing this TikTok video, I got to contact my congress people. I got to let them know I'm not for this. You got to stop this. I expect you to vote this way. That's what we got to do now. And then we got to plan to see who's going to run next year. So we'll be ready for then. I mean, not next year, but in the next 4 years. That's what you need to start looking at. Then you need to look at all your local elections. This is when you do that. But as black people, we always doing the wrong thing at the wrong time. Stepping and fetching, ducking and dodging, dancing and being on the wrong side of stuff, when we need to understand what the next thing is. And that's the next thing. The next thing is to start making and putting the pressure on the Congress people, because there are more of us than there is of him, and making sure that they work for us. And then let's see what we're doing for the next 4 years. And Democrats, let me tell you something. Stop trying to tell us what to do until you all get a backbone. I'm so pissed off at you all, because we wouldn't be in this situation if you had not sold Biden out. I said what I said. The Republicans are sorry, and this is not even just a Republican thing anymore. We have gotten to the point where you can see all of your biases and your prejudice coming out. But they stay quiet and they let everything play out because they stay behind their candidate, whether they supported him or not. Democrats, this is on you too. So when you all contact talking about give some money, do this, one of the reasons I stopped giving is because y'all stopped standing up. Get your backbone up. And as far as I'm concerned, Snoop, yeah, in my book, hasn't done anything to you personally. Well, honey, personally, I'm not going to do anything to support you. Boom.